2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to Toronto. The roof is wide open. It is a summer night, 28 degrees, a little humid. It feels like it's 30 degrees, but there is a buzz around this ball club right now, and why not? Last night, Troy Tulowitzki made his Blue Jays debut, and he made it with some thunder, a home run, 2 doubles, and a couple of fine plays in the field. And this afternoon, it was announced that David Price has been acquired. And this is a tweet from David Price, and he really is a simple guy. He says, all I'm asking for is to have the biggest trash bag of popcorn waiting for me in my locker, the best popcorn ever. And David Price has a cute little niece, and look at her, all decked out in her Blue Jays cap.
Niece is ready to go. Thanks for everything, Blue Jays. Hey, the entire country is now rooting for us. Wow, I think David Price is excited. The fans are excited. The ball players are excited. Everybody's excited for this ball club.
David Price is back in the AL East with his new teammate, Troy Tulowitzki. It's short. The Royals are in town in Kansas City, off to a great start coming off their American League Championship a year ago. Ned Yost is the skipper of the Royals, and take a look at their lineup tonight. Top of the order is Alcides Escobar, Mike Moustakas, and Lorenzo Cain. Boy, he had a coming-out party last year, and he has really put himself in a great position. He's batting third in this lineup, and this year on the road, he's hit .320 with 5 home runs. And Eric Hosmer has always been a tough out for the Blue Jays. A career .331 average with 3 homers and 19 RBIs. Hosmer has an 11-game hit streak.
Yeah, he is really hot right now. That's a tough lineup that Marco Estrada will have to contend with tonight as he gets ready for his 16th start of the season, his 22nd game overall. Last time out against Seattle, he only lasted 4 innings. He just could not control the baseball, throw it where he wanted to. He pitched around 11 base runners in those 4 innings, 8 hits and 3 base on balls. He gave up 5 earned runs. That's the most earned runs that Marco has given up in a game this season. He's going to have to pitch a lot better tonight here against Kansas City.
Defensively behind Estrada in the outfield with the left-hander Duffy on the mound for Kansas City, it's Valencia Pilar and Jose Bautista. Donaldson and Tulowitzki, tough combination on the left side. Goins played well last night. This is his 30th start at second. Chris Colabello gets the start at first. Gianna Navarro has handled Marco Estrada very well. These two match up again tonight.
And out in right field, welcome back, Jose Bautista sat out last night's game. He DH'd, in fact, because of that cramping that he had a couple of nights ago coming out of the box late in that game. He says he's fine. He's going to take his usual position in right field.
Bautista, yeah, he's energized like the rest of his teammates with the news of picking up David Price this afternoon. There was a buzz around this ball club all throughout batting practice. Estrada is set. Alcides Escobar, his former teammate in Milwaukee, will step in.
And you have to be careful with Escobar, because as soon as he steps into that batter's box, he is ready to swing the bat.
Here's the first pitch of the game. It is down and away for a ball, and we are underway. Escobar, 28 years old. He's from Venezuela. He was picked up by the Royals in a big trade with Milwaukee in 2010. There's a fastball that's 1-1. Estrada 7-6 for the season. Those are his numbers in that start Pat mentioned at Kansas City. Gave up 9 hits in 6 2/3.
Yeah, that was a start in Kansas City, and I didn't think he pitched poorly there. Yeah, he gave up his share of base runners. You mentioned the 9 hits and the 1 walk. But he pitched well enough, I thought, to win. Pitched into the 7th inning. When he left that ball game, it was only 2-0.
Same pitching matchup we have tonight. Danny Duffy started for Kansas City. That was the final series of the first half before the All-Star break. They both pitched on Friday night in Kansas City. Royals took 2 of 3 from the Jays. And that was that back and forth seesaw battle on Sunday that determined the outcome of that series. Kansas City won that one 11-10. 2-2 pitch. Line right to Colabello. Playing off the line, and he was standing right in the perfect spot. 1 out.
Makes the first out. A good pitch and a good swing. Blue Jays handle the first batter of the night. Let's take a look at the scouting report for tonight's starter of the Blue Jays, Marco Estrada. Note the two big pitches, the fastball 50% of the time, the changeup 30% of the time. That's his bread and butter right there. 80% of the time he's either going to go fastball or changeup. He'll mix in a curveball, and he's starting to throw a cutter just a little bit more. But I think the fastball is key for Marco. He's got to be able to throw it where he needs to and set up that changeup.
0-1 to Mike Moustakas, the third baseman, batting .290 for the season. There's a curveball for a strike.
A little bit of something different there. He's got the lowest average versus the fastball since the start of June. One of the lowest at .217. So fastball very important for Marco.
0-2. Curveball bounced in the dirt. See the defense, they're playing Moustakas to pull, but he has straightened out the defense a little bit more this season, using more of the whole diamond.
Look at the batting average for Moustakas at .290. And all he is doing is just shooting the ball the other way. When he was a younger player, he would pull everything. Everything was yanked on the ground, and his batting average was 200 and below. This year, he says, you know what, there's a lot of free hits. He was telling me today before the ballgame, there's a lot of free hits going the other way.
Made his debut in June of 2011. There's a strike. Moustakas knew it. They had an off-speed pitch in Moustakas' mind, and they crossed him up. That's the first strikeout of the night for Estrada.
See the importance of the fastball for Marco Estrada, four-seamer. That is right down Broadway. And Mike Moustakas just cannot pull the string. Can't let it go. He's looking for off-speed pitch, and they cross him up.
Lorenzo Cain will step in with 2 outs. Cain, like Escobar, was a teammate of Estrada's in Milwaukee, 2010. First pitch fastball in a perfect spot. It's interesting as you look at this Royals lineup and the service time for the players. 5 years is the key number. They've all been together for 5 years. The young players.
And for the most part, they have come through their system. They came through the system. They all got to the big leagues about the same time. They took their lumps early as young players, but boy, they have turned it around.
Ball on the strike. Look out. That fastball up and in, and Cain will go to first, hit by a pitch. Estrada trying to run that fastball inside, missed and hit Cain. That's just the 7th time he's been hit this season. Catches him on the back of that left shoulder. That hurts.
Yep. Got all meat right there. Problem with that is, one, Cain could really run. He's at 18 stolen bases. 2, you got to face Hosmer now with a runner on base.
Red hot, Eric Hosmer. He's got an 11-game hit streak overall. Big lead at first. Not running. First pitch strike. That's how you neutralize that running game. Jump ahead of Hosmer. Good numbers across the board for the Royals first baseman. .315, 11 and 55. He's been ridiculous on the road lately. In his last 6 road games, he's hitting .563. Bigger lead for Cain. Foul just outside of first.
Well, you talk about those numbers. Let's show you what you're talking about. 11-game hit streak, hitting over 500 with power. 10 RBIs in those 11 games. I was talking to some of the Kansas City people today, and they said he drove a ball out of Cleveland the other day to left center field. Was as good a hit as they've ever seen. I also saw him pull a ball down the right field line. He is hitting just about everything right now, so you got to be very careful with him.
Hosmer is just 25 years old. Upstairs. Hosmer, like Escobar, Moustakas, Cain before him, this is his 5th season in Kansas City. That's the magic number. They took their lumps together. Then they started to win last year, and now they've got a real taste for it in their mouth.
And they want to go a little bit deeper, 1 game deeper, win that last game of the season.
1-2. That's a good check by Estrada.
gamble here by Kansas City is he's going to throw an off-speed pitch right here. So you might want to start the runner. They've got 62 stolen bases this year, third most in the American League.
Broken bat up the middle, base hit. Kane will go around second and head for third, and Hosmer with a broken bat single extends his hit streak to 12 straight. Can't do anything about that. Estrada made a good pitch.
Absolutely sawed him off. You see the bat right in half off the end of the bats, and this one right between Tulowitzki and Goins. And Kane will make it easily into third base. Sometimes you make a good pitch like this, and they get enough of the wood and hit it in a good spot.
That's how you have those extended hit streaks. Kane goes first to third. He was hit by a pitch with 2 outs now. Kendrys Morales. What a pickup Morales has been for Kansas City. He was signed as a free agent in December, and everybody kind of poo-pooed the signing, saying, oh, what's he going to do for Kansas City? He doesn't have any power. Look at those numbers.
12 home runs, 68 driven in. He's been a proven run producer in his career.
Pop this one up over near the Blue Jays dugout. Navarro will come over, and it's on the roof. Out of play.
Thought that one might have had a chance to come back. Well, you talk about run producers. How about runs batted in with runners in scoring position? That's what RBI with risk means. Kendrys Morales is number 1. 55 of those 68 RBIs driven in with runners in scoring position.
Interesting, all 5 of those hitters are left-handed hitters. Morales is tied with Donaldson with 68 ribbies overall. Hosmer broke towards second as if he was stealing. It was a real unusual break. It looked like he really was running to steal base, and then he got about 2 steps on the turf and shut it down.
And that's why Navarro came firing from behind home plate like he was going to try and throw him out. Kane, the runner at third base, is getting a huge lead with Morales at the plate.
Fouled out.
Josh Donaldson is trying to jockey him back to the bag at third base. We have seen that work already for the Blue Jays, especially with Navarro and Donaldson. There was a big pickoff in Seattle that helped Estrada, with Navarro picking off a runner at third base.
You can see Donaldson looking at the base runner and the third base coach. They also picked off Tim Beckham right here in Rogers Center to end an inning. Bounced, nice block by Navarro. Janner is catching for the 17th time, making this start. He and Estrada have clicked. Buries that breaking ball in the dirt, and Navarro played it textbook. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We're in the first. Kansas City threatening. Another curveball that misses.
You never know where rallies are going to start. This one started with 2 outs and nobody on for Kansas City.
There's a new name on a Royals jersey. That's Ben Zobrist on deck. 3-2, 2 outs. Hosmer will be off on the pitch from first. There he goes. Ball is driven deep down the left side. This ball is carrying, and it is a foul ball. Morales had the distance. It's a very breezy night here at Rogers Center. It looked like the ball pushed that ball foul. The wind pushed that thing foul.
You know, you and I were down on the field today for batting practice, and the ball was carrying like crazy. Probably the best that we have seen this season. It was really carrying.
Another 3-2 pitch. Line drive. Bautista on the run. It's past him. Kane is in to score. Hosmer's going to score right behind him, and Kendrys Morales on a 3-2 pitch drives in 2. He's got 70 ribbies for the season, in Kansas City has a 2-0 lead.
And he does it again with a runner in scoring position. That's how you cash in runs. You come up with big base hits just like that by Morales. Looked like a changeup. That was down Yep, down, and he's a good hitter. You see, he's got that timing with that leg kick. He goes down and gets that low change, drills it into right center field. First two batters go down, no problem. Last three have reached, and Kansas City takes the lead.
This is a different lineup than we're used to seeing with the Royals. They are powerful and can cash in some runs. This is Ben Zobrist, the switch hitter, just acquired in a trade with Oakland.
And it just got better with Ben Zobrist.
Boy, he fills so many needs for Kansas City. Alex Gordon, their Gold Glover left fielder, is on the DL. Zobrist can play second, short, third, first, at left, and right.
He's got playoff experience. He's just a good player.
He's 34 years old now. He spent 9 years in Tampa Bay, where he was a .264 hitter. 21 games of postseason experience with Tampa Bay. He's also a two-time All-Star. Fly ball to center. Pilar on the run. He's going to get there to end the inning. But Kansas City has taken a 2-0 lead on a 2-run double by Kendrys Morales. Danny Duffy will face Troy Tulowitzki when we come back. The Blue Jays are down by 2. Starter play tonight. They find themselves trailing in the American League East. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons Blue Jays. Right at the top of the order, Troy Tulowitzki. Man, he'll get to face a left-handed pitcher tonight. Big numbers for Tulowitzki against lefties. .375 average, 9 extra base hits, and he's driven home 14. Jose Bautista is 4 for 6 against the starter Danny Duffy with 4 walks. He sees him very well.
Another left-hander, and the Blue Jays have pounded lefties this year. Danny Duffy takes the mound for his 15th start of the season. This is the second time this year that the Blue Jays have seen him, and the 4th time in his career. 4-4 with a .403 earned run average. Check that whip out, 1.4. He'll walk his share of batters, so the Blue Jays are going to have to be very patient with him.
Troy Tulowitzki with a big debut last night, 3 for 5 with a home run. Drove in 3 and scored 3. He has a home run against Danny Duffy. He's 1 for 3 against the Royals starter. Breaking ball. Duffy spent some time on the DL this season. He came off the disabled list June 23rd. He had a bout of biceps tendonitis. He's also endured Tommy John surgery in his young career.
You know, there's no question he's got a great arm, especially a left-hander who can rush it up there at 95 miles an hour. He just doesn't have the command just yet.
He was a 5th-round pick by the Royals in 2007 from Lompoc, California, on the coast of California. A high school pitcher. This has got to be an unnerving evening for pitchers. You just get a sense that the ball is traveling big time.
Yeah.
That hit Tulowitzki. He would go to first. So the leadoff man is aboard after the Royals score 2 in the top of the first. Duffy hits Tulowitzki.
That's what you want to do right there. It's a hard breaking ball that Danny Duffy has. Gets on top. That one overcooks it just a little bit and hits Tulo right in the right knee, the back knee. Bounces off of his knee, and he will be awarded first base. Yeah, you only had to spend a couple of minutes down on the field this afternoon to see that the ball was really carrying.
Josh Donaldson goes after the first pitch. Donaldson was 2 for 5 in last night's game. His average of 288. He is now in second place in the RBI lead in the American League. Morales has taken over sole possession of first with 70 ribbies. Tulowitzki doesn't have a stolen base attempt this season. Earlier in his career, he ran a little bit, but he's been plagued by leg injuries and he doesn't run as much anymore. Tulowitzki had 20 stolen bases in 2009.
No need to run with this team.
No, you don't run on this team. That's for sure. Anywhere in the lineup, they can take you deep. Another home run threat on deck. That's Jose Bautista. Jose had 2 hits in last night's game and an RBI. Donaldson drills it to left. A line drive that bounces off the wall. Tulowitzki is headed for third. He'll stop there, and the Blue Jays answer immediately. A hit batter and a double. Double number 26 for Josh Donaldson.
You know, you better bring your A game early on in the first inning, or Blue Jays are going to make you pay. Duffy, that's a change up, and it's elevated up in the strike zone, and Josh is all over that one. Watch him pound that ball down the left field line. First inning has been good for Duffy this year. He's allowed just 2 runs in the first inning in 14 outings this year, so he has been bringing his A game.
Jose Bautista, we mentioned his good numbers against Duffy, 4 for 6 with 4 walks. 21 and 67 for the Blue Jays slugger. Duffy has been on a real hot streak since he came off the disabled list. He's allowed 1 hit in 23 at-bats with runners in scoring position. I mean, that's shutting it down.
Shut it down. Get yourself in trouble. Figure out a way to get out of it.
Bautista dances out of the way and hits the deck. Slider down and in, and Blue Jay fans are booing, but obviously Duffy, with no intent, he just overthrew that slider again.
He's done that a couple of times already here in the first inning, just a little bit too hard with that breaking ball. And you would like to have that down to the back part of the right-handed batters, that back chew. But that time he overthrew that one again.
I don't know how Bautista got out of the way of that one. 2-1 to Jose. Line drive to right. Dyson is there. He makes the catch. Here comes Tulowitzki. He slides in safely. Bautista picks up the sac fly. Great reactions by Tulowitzki on that line drive. He went right back to tag up, and the Blue Jays are on the board.
Well, you know what? You don't have to go very far from third base with nobody out. You're really not going to go anywhere except a ground ball to the middle of the diamond. So look at the lead that Troy has. Not very far, so he reads it. And Dyson can throw. He's got 4 outfield assists. This one is right on the mark, but it takes that 1 extra bounce. One more time, Tulowitzki right in the dirt area. He can tag up, and that is a short fly ball, line drive. Perez gives him the lane, and Tulowitzki takes it.
Chris Colabella goes after that first pitch. That's where I disagree with that new rule. If Perez has the ability to block the plate, they can stop the runner from scoring. Just let the throw take you across home plate and you block the plate, no runs scored. But Tulowitzki tags and scores for Bautista, who now has 68 ribbies. High pop down the right side. Hosmer over near the seats. He's got room, and the wind kept that in play. Donaldson will tag and advance to third on the pop-up. That ball was back over the seats, but the wind blew it back over the playing field. Defensively, the Royals are one of the best teams in baseball, and they have been for the last couple of years. Ben Zobrist is in left, Lorenzo Cain in center, and Dyson is in right. Moustakas and Escobar on the left side. Infante and the Gold Glover Eric Hosmer at first, and the two-time Gold Glover Perez behind the plate for nothing.
They lose a Gold Glover and Alex Gordon in the left field. They plug in Ben Zobrist. He had 30 games in the outfield for Oakland, 34 more games at second base for the A's. Tonight he will play left field. Having somebody like Ben Zobrist on your team is like having 2 or 3 extra men. You can plug him in anywhere, and he's going to give you good at bats. He's not going to hurt you.
Alex Gordon, the Gold Glover on the DL. Russell Martin gets the night off from catching. He's the DH tonight. Donaldson at third. Kansas City with a 2-1 lead. Everybody knows about the Royals bullpen. They basically play a 6-inning game, so you better get even with the Royals early and try to get that lead before you hit the 7th inning.
It's not impossible, but it's tough if you fall behind after 6 innings.
Russell Martin over his last 13 games has hit .327. He has been a good addition to this ball club, hitting .308 against left-handed pitching this season. 3-1 count. Upstairs. That's the first walk issued by Duffy. He's done a pretty good job of eliminating the base on balls. He's not getting as many strikeouts, but he's pitching to contact and cutting down the free passes.
Talking to some of the people around the Kansas City Royals who said Duffy's better when he's at 92, 91 miles an hour because he can control his body and therefore control the pitches just a little bit better. Gets a little bit out of whack when he tries to overthrow. We've seen that a couple of times already this inning, trying to overthrow those sliders.
Danny Valencia average at an even 300. Just down low. Duffy wanted that pitch. He made a pretty good pitch, but didn't get the call. Runners into corners, 2 outs. Both teams scoring in the first inning tonight. Ball on the strike, couple of fastballs from Duffy. Danny Valencia has been hot lately. 10 hits in his last 9 games for a .345 average.
And there are his numbers with runners in scoring position.
Pops this one up. This will stay playable more than likely. Hosmer is there. He gets there. And the wind cheated the Blue Jays out of a couple of swings. Duffy out of the first, but the Blue Jays score a run on a hit. Tulowitzki got hit by a pitch. Bautista drills a sac fly to right. Tulowitzki reacts quickly and slides across with the Blue Jays run 2-1 Kansas City after 1.
You know, when Devin Travis re-aggravated that shoulder issue that plagued him early in the season on Tuesday night, it appeared as if he was destined for the disabled list. Well, not so fast. Travis is still with the Blue Jays. He's on the bench, as you see there. He actually had a cortisone shot, so they expect him to be out for at least 2 to 3 days. They don't want to pull the trigger on a DL stint quite yet. Buck, they're hopeful. They just have to see how it's going to react as we get into the weekend and early next week.
Well, hopefully it will react in a positive fashion. They'll be able to bring him back. This is Sal Perez. You got to stay with all these pop-ups on the right side of the field as the wind is blowing from the stands back toward the field. Blue Jays got burnt twice in the first inning. Colabello and Valencia both hit pop-ups that stayed over the playing field.
Thought for sure both of those were going to be in the stands, but Hosmer got both of them.
Another pop back by Sal Perez, a terrific young catcher of the Royals. Perez got yesterday off. It was a day game in Cleveland. He was 0 for 7 in the 2 games he played in Cleveland. This is a high pop into the outfield. Goins out. Bautista, the right fielder, calls for it. Gets there. Perez is retired.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Beautiful evening here in Toronto as the Blue Jays take on the Royals. First of 4 games against the front-running Kansas City Royals. They lead the AL Central by 9 games over Minnesota. This is the veteran Omar Infante. This is his 14th big league season. Spent his first 8 years in Detroit. Actually had 2 different stints with Detroit covering those 8 seasons. Signed as an amateur free agent by the Tigers in 1999. Been a terrific player.
Certainly has on this team. All you have to do is just catch the ball, make the plays, and add a little offense. You don't need a ton of offense. Kansas City certainly has plenty of that.
Infante has been a veteran of a trade deadline deal. In July of 2013, he and Anibal Sanchez went to the Tigers to shore up Detroit at that point. Detroit needed a starter and a second baseman. They got both with 1 deal. This is a fly ball to right. Bautista cruises over, makes the catch. 2 fly ball outs here in the second.
Marco Estrada is an extreme fly ball type of pitcher. With the wind the way it is and the way the ball is carrying tonight, he's really going to have to keep the ball down. We have already seen he's been burned a couple of times on pitches that have been up in the first inning.
This is Gerard Dyson, the right fielder. As a first pitch changeup for a strike. Dyson's getting a lot of playing time since the injury to Gordon. He's a speedster. He can really run.
He is the perfect number 4 outfielder, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He can play all 3 outfield positions. He can steal a base. He can come into the game late and swipe a bag for you. He's behind 0-2 to Marco Estrada.
And if you need him to play while a regular is out, he's not going to hurt you. He's going to help you win ball games. He has already done that for this team already. Did you see the catch he made when he first went in for Alex Gordon about 3 weeks ago? Right over the head, a la Willie Mays.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Alex Gordon's got the groin injury, and he's probably still a month away. They are thinking maybe September 1st that he's going to be back.
He's missed 18 games to this point with that groin injury. Strike 3 call. Estrada uses the fastball for a second time tonight to strike out a Royals hitter. 3 up, 3 down in the second. Dyson caught looking for another changeup. They cross him up and throw him the heater.
MLB trade deadline, and we will have a special for you, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Tomorrow on Sportsnet, you can follow the conversation at Sportsnet or hashtag MLB on the move. By the way, I spoke with Navarro today, who caught David Price in Tampa. He raved about his competitiveness. He said you never know if the guy is winning, losing, just gave up a home run or a strikeout. And he also said every time you see him pitch, you'll want to dial in because something special, Buck, can happen.
Absolutely it can. Of course, they were teammates during that World Series run in 2008 when they lost to the Philadelphia Phillies. And Price had a win and a save in the postseason before he had either in the regular season. He came up down the stretch for Tampa Bay. This is Kevin Pillar. 1-1 count to the Blue Jays center fielder. Bottom third of the order, Pillar, Navarro, and Goins against Duffy. Pillar has had a good first full season in the majors, batting .271 at the start of play tonight. He's got 20 doubles, 2 triples, 7 homers, and 38 RBIs. And for Bush Major, he just threw in 15 stolen bases.
Yeah, and playing great defense in center field. You got to watch him night after night after night to appreciate what he has meant for this team. Remember, he started this year as the left fielder in a platoon situation with Michael Saunders. Well, that was the plan going into spring training. Then Michael got hurt. Pillar took the job in spring training and then switched over to center field.
You'll remember in spring training, all the talk was, well, Pompey's going to be the center fielder, and maybe Pillar can make the roster as the 4th outfielder. That motivated Kevin Pillar. He said, this is the way it's always been in my career, and it doesn't bother me. There's a pop-up. Hosmer down the right side. That's a fair ball. Pillar will stop there at first. This is a play that aggravates me to no end. Hosmer giving chase, Pillar going down the first baseline. Why doesn't the catcher follow the base runner up the line? He's got nowhere else to go. And if the catcher's at first, they got a shot at Pillar when he rounds the bag.
Maybe you sneak one in right here. Pillar's going to come around. He's going to think about going for 2, but there's nobody behind him as that ball drops in right down the right field line for a single. But I'm with you. I was watching Sal Perez, and he was just behind the plate.
Catchers used to have to always follow that base runner when there's nobody out, nowhere else to go. Why should you just stand at home? No reason for it. This is Navarro, batting right-handed. Navarro, the switch hitter, of course, hitting .218 on the season. His season was interrupted with that hamstring injury early on. Navarro missed 38 games with that hammy. 1-1 count to the Blue Jays catcher.
Well, I like how they are showing a lot of patience with Danny Duffy, making him throw a lot of pitches. 21 of them in the first inning. And now making him work here at the bottom of the lineup.
That breaking ball so far, Duffy hasn't been able to throw that breaking ball for a strike, and the Blue Jays are just taking it, not even concerned about it.
Yeah, eliminate it. Just eliminate it from what you're going to do as a hitter up there and just sit on that fastball. He has not, at least so far in this game, shown the ability that he's going to throw it for a strike.
High and deep to left. Get up, ball. This ball is gone. Navarro got on top of that high fastball and drilled it to the seats in left, home run number 3. It doesn't make any difference where you are in the Blue Jays lineup.
Hitting is very difficult to do, especially at the major league level, but it becomes easier when the pitcher is struggling to throw that breaking ball over for a strike. You just forget about it. You just sit on the fastball. And Navarro, the honor, contributes to the Blue Jays with his 3rd home run of the season.
Blue Jays on top 3-2.
One more time. Heater over the middle, and Danny Duffy knew it.
Navarro, RBIs number 12 and 13 on the season. Brian Goins behind 0-2. He strikes out. Foul tip held onto by Perez. One down. We mentioned Danny Duffy had been on a roll. He had not walked many batters. He had given up home runs. You see what he's done prior to this start tonight over his last three. He was a shutdown pitcher for sure.
Yeah, one of those starts was against the Blue Jays when he threw 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, no earned runs, then 1 run to Chicago, and then 1 run to the Houston Astros. That's why that earned run average is at 0.90. But as you can see, we have not seen him throw a breaking ball for a strike tonight.
There's a fastball strike to Tulowitzki with a 1-1 count. One and two now. There is a buzz in this stadium after the Navarro 2-run homer. Strike 3 called. The fastball down and away for the strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts after the home run.
All with the fastball. He got Brian Goins on a high fastball, and then it's Tulowitzki looking for an off-speed pitch, and then paints this fastball 93 right there, right on the corner.
Looked like a changeup in there for a strike. Donaldson drilled a double in his first at bat, base of the wall in left field. Another breaking ball, and it's down and in. Duffy hasn't been able to get the Blue Jays to chase that pitch. Three and one now. Ned Yost, the manager of Kansas City, knows how potent this lineup can be. Yost is in his 6th season as the skipper of Kansas City. Breaking ball.
You know what? If you're not throwing them for strikes, I think you got to keep throwing it until you find that breaking ball, or you're not going to be around here very long.
Angel Hernandez down at first calls Donaldson for the swing on that high fastball. Full count. Bautista will be next if Donaldson can reach base. Jose had a sac fly in the first. Ball 4 that goes back to the screen. Donaldson walks with 2 outs. Second walk issued by Duffy so far in this game, and that'll bring Bautista to the plate. Duffy's operating without all of his weapons right now.
And it looks like he's trying to muscle his way through this inning, trying to reach back for a little something extra to try and get through the 2nd inning, using his fastball because he just doesn't have the feel for the breaking ball yet.
First pitch changeup for a strike. Bautista hit a rocket line drive to the right fielder for the sac fly in the first. There's a breaking ball. It's fouled off.
You know, that's what I mean. If you don't have the feel for it, you better find it or you're not going to be around very long. So you got to try it or to at least throw it, don't you?
Yeah, that's a great point. You just can't abandon pitch. You're not going to be able to compete against these Blue Jay hitters with just 2 pitches.
You're going to abandon that pitching rubber because you're going to be in the clubhouse.
It'll be an early night. Sal Perez, the young catcher, we mentioned this is his 5th season with the Royals. Bautista covers that outside pitch. The Royals have done a great job of building their foundation with homegrown players in key spots. Lots of pitchers, the catcher, corner infielders.
Your bullpen, for the most part, the key ingredients of your bullpen.
Popped up on the infield. Moustakas comes in from third, and Bautista's retired. But the Blue Jays take the lead. Deanna Navarro hits his 3rd home run of the season, a 2-run shot. It's the first time in franchise history the Blue Jays have homered in 12 straight games following the All-Star break. 3-2 Jays.
Part of the business. You know, we had a very talented group of guys in here, and you know, so do the Blue Jays. So go there, be ready to pitch every 5 days, and you know, go over there and be a good teammate. You know, the days in between, see what happens.
29-year-old David Price talking about joining the Blue Jays. That was in Baltimore as he and his Tigers were there. Now he's a Blue Jay, and he's a 5-time All-Star, won the Cy Young Award in 2012. And he's experienced a trade deadline trade last year as well. He went from Tampa Bay to Detroit in a 3-team deal on the 31st of July a year ago. That involved Austin Jackson, Drew Smiley, Nick Franklin. They all traded places. Tampa Bay, Seattle, and Detroit involved. This is the leadoff man. This is Alcides Escobar, 2 balls and a strike. Take a look at Price. His final 11 starts with the Tigers going back to 2014. He put on a stretch run for them.
Yeah, notice the innings, almost 8 innings per start for David Price, 84 strikeouts.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Tulowitzki takes it on the short hop. Nice play by Tulowitzki. It's short. Playing on this turf for the first time, he stayed down low with it and took the short hop and made a strong throw.
He can throw on the run as well as anybody in the game. You see, he gets the short hop and then throws off that back leg with a lot of mustard on that ball to get the runner at first base. Watch the range. See him at the top of your screen up there. Gets a good break. Fields and throws. That's how you win a couple of Gold Gloves.
Mike Moustakas goes after the first pitch. Boy, what a confidence booster that is for Estrada. He sees the ball bounced up the middle, thinks it's a single into center, and there's Tulowitzki to make the play. 1 out. Moustakas caught looking at strike 3 from Estrada in the second. Excuse me, back in his first at bat. Good changeup. We mentioned Estrada throws his changeup more than anybody in baseball. 30% of his pitches are that changeup.
And with that, it's a good combination with his fastball. Big separation miles per hour wise between the fastball and the changeup. I like how he throws that glove at that hitter. You see his windup. He gathers himself over the rubber, then he picks that front shoulder, that front arm up, and it's almost like he's throwing it at the hitter to distract him, and then here comes the changeup.
Fastball, and Moustakas is late on it. When you talk about pitchers throwing the changeup as much as Estrada, there's a couple guys that are in that same caliber that are good pitchers. Felix Hernandez and Chris Sale. They both throw their changeups more than 29% of the time.
Marco just doesn't have the fastball that those two guys have, but he has as good a changeup as anybody.
Chris Sale was forced into throwing that changeup.
It certainly was. He was going to be moved to the bullpen by Kenny Williams, the general manager at the time, until he learned to throw that changeup and complement that slider that he has.
1 and 2 trying to elevate. They do, but it's too high, and Moustakas lays on.
I don't think he has thrown or shown him a breaking ball yet in this at bat. That might be the time. Remember, he got him looking for a changeup his first time up by pumping the fastball by him.
Fastball gets Moustakas this time. Swinging 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Boy, that is a great deal, and we'll have all of the details about the trades tomorrow. A trade deadline special. It all begins at 4 Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet. Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn will be involved. Hazel May, Mike Wilder, Pat and I will also help out, and we'll break down all of these trades, and they are coming fast and furious. That's a good move for the Astros.
I think it's a very good move. He was going to the Mets, and now he's going to go to the Astros. The Astros have been very busy.
Kane lifts a high fly ball to shallow right field. Bautista makes the play. Good job by Estrada. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. Colabello, Martin, and Valencia against Duffy when we come back.
back, and we have another one tomorrow night before the Blue Jays and the Royals at 7 o'clock. You can get to the ballpark early for the pregame festival outside of Gate 10. Special guest Chad Brownlee is going to have a live performance in the licensed area. Gates, actually, the ballpark will open at 4:30 p.m., and it'll be interesting, Buck, tomorrow to see if David Price will be here in Toronto or not.
Well, I think you can book it. David Price sounded very excited about the prospects of getting back into an AL East pennant race. Chris Colabello pops it up behind home plate. Sal Perez is there, and Colabello is retired on one pitch. The Blue Jays today were very busy in the ticket office. They sold 21,000 tickets today. Certainly has to be linked to David Price's announcement today and the fact they picked up Tulowitzki yesterday. We have seen Tulowitzki jerseys both nights. We've seen Price jerseys already. And you and I went into the locker room and saw David Price's uniform hanging in his locker with number 14 on it, formerly worn by Justin Smoke.
And their lockers are going to be right next to each other. Smokey gave him his number 14, his familiar number 14 for Price, and Justin looks like he's going to wear number 13 now. But you're right, the excitement Sunday, it looks like David Price is going to pitch on Sunday. No official word from the Blue Jays, but that would make a lot of sense to pitch against Kansas City. And then that would put him on target to face the Yankees in the first game at Yankee Stadium on Friday.
Russell Martin. There's a deep drive to left. Over his back, looking up. Goodbye. Home run. Martin off the second deck. Number 15 for the Blue Jays DH. That is 19 home runs in the last 12 games.
Come in bunches. If you were watching the telecast last night, Russell Martin looked like he was having some problems with the knuckleball from R.A. Dickey. Hit him in the thumb a couple of times, and you could tell that he was in some pain. No pain now. DHing tonight against Danny Duffy and the Kansas City Royals. He put a charge into that ball.
That was a high, deep home run off the facing of the second deck and left.
Go down there and get it. We've been talking about him hitting the ball to right field, but he can still turn on the baseball on the inner half.
Now Duffy has come out of his delivery trying to overthrow that fastball. Here's the pitch to Martin.
Four-seamer. Four-seam fastball right down the middle.
Valencia fouls it back. For Russell, serving as the DH tonight against Ned Yost's Kansas City Royals, it's got to seem like he's playing a sandlot game. Just has the ability to go up and hit. Hey, Russell, you get to hit 4 times, maybe 5 times tonight without having to worry about catching. Mind you, I know he loves to catch, but at the same time, what a good way to get a night off from behind the plate. Valencia with the delayed called strike.
It's not a day off, but it might feel like it.
Yeah.
Not having to catch.
And he takes so much pride in his work behind the plate. Two to Valencia. Popped up, back out of play. There's a lot of conversation on the bench between the hitters, and Brooke Jacoby's right there. You can see Navarro's on Jacoby's right. Goin sits down, talks to Martin. What did you see? What do you see from this guy? He really exchanged a lot of information. That breaking ball has basically been a non-factor tonight for Duffy.
But you see how Dan Valencia took that one? He saw it out of his hand all the way, and he knew it was going to be a ball. That one down and in again.
Valencia takes ball 4. 3 walks by Duffy now. Don Wakamatsu on the far right there is the bench coach. He was the bench coach for John Farrell here with the Blue Jays for 2 seasons. Dave Allen is the pitching coach. He's in his 4th season next to Ned Yost, the manager. Kind of baffling after the way Duffy has pitched recently, but the breaking ball has really limited him what he can do.
You can see that right away. The Blue Jays see it too.
Another pop up on the infield. Infante, the second baseman, makes the catch. Pilar is returned. Four pop outs for Duffy so far in this game. And here is Navarro. He hit the 2-run home run in the second.
Yeah, Blue Jays got a lot of pop-ups. Hosmer's caught 2 of them. We've seen Moustakas catch 1. The catcher has caught 1. And now Pilar pops out to the second baseman.
Yanner Navarro.
A lot of times when you get the pop-ups like that, that means the pitcher's got a good fastball. And Duffy has a good fastball.
But it seems like most of the pop-ups are on pitches down. Yeah, it's unusual. Well, I tell you what, to a man, the Blue Jays are seeing the ball well tonight. They take some borderline pitches. If it's not what they want to swing at, they just take it, wait for the next one. But you're right, this is a very competent lineup. Breaking ball, this is pulled to third. Moustakas takes his time and throws out Navarro. But the Blue Jays score for a 3rd consecutive inning. Russell Martin has walked in, homered. This home run comes with 1 out in the 3rd. For Martin, his 15th home run of the season, and the Blue Jays have a 4-2 lead.
It is the Russell Martin bobblehead. 20,000 of them will be given away for the matinee on the civic holiday, and a lot of Russell Martin fans enjoying that home run today. Tickets still available. Check out BlueJays.com if you want to check out the Blue Jays and the Twins. Buck.
Arash, a very unusual occurrence tonight. The Blue Jays have 2 catchers on their roster. They're both in the game tonight. Martin the DH, Navarro catching, and they both homered. Very unusual. Oftentimes managers won't put both catchers in the lineup, afraid of losing the DH, but not the case with John Gibbons.
Play a hunch. You catch Navarro, you keep that hot bat of Russell Martin in the lineup, and it's paid off.
This is Eric Hosmer. He takes a curveball strike at 0-2. Hosmer had a broken bat single in the 1st. That led to the 2-run 1st inning. That extended his hit streak to 12 straight. He's also hit in 7 straight road games. Boy, he's turned into a good player.
Yeah, what the Kansas City Royals have done, they have narrowed his stance at the plate. Before, he was filling up that batter's box with a wide stance. Well, they have narrowed it just a little bit, and he's got more leverage now, I think. He's got his legs underneath him when he swings, and the power is just starting to come for Hosmer. Before, he was spread out maybe another foot or so. And then when he would weight shift, he would get off balance.
Hosmer came up and had a great season his rookie year. He finished third in the American League Rookie of the Year voting in 2011. He hit .293 with 19 homers and 78 RBIs. Then the league adjusted to it. Took him a while to get straightened out as he had to battle those adjustments, but he has established himself now. Covers that outside fastball very well.
And he hits in a ballpark that is really a pitcher's ballpark. Tough to hit big home runs, have big power numbers in that ballpark, but I think this guy is just scratching the surface of the talent that he has. He's a great first baseman, and he can hit.
He's the reigning Gold Glover at first base in the American League. He has back-to-back Gold Gloves to his credit, 13 and 14. After that rookie season in 2012, he had .232. So he was humbled in year 2. There's a line drive. Pilar came in and then made the adjustment. Boy, you don't see many center fielders adjust like that, but Pilar made it easy. 1 down.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, Eric Hosmer hits a lot of line drives, and this one he hammers to center field. Pilar comes in and then realizes this ball is going to carry just a little bit further, and makes a nice adjustment.
Outfielders from time to time will react to the sound of the bat, and that had a distinctive crack of the bat that suggested he really hit it hard. And Pilar read it, made an adjustment, and backpedaled to make the play. Kendrys Morales, a 2-run double in the first. Morales spent 6 years with the Angels. They signed him as an amateur free agent. He comes out of Cuba. He signed with the Angels in 2005. Curveball fouled off.
Yeah. Time to get that thing incorporated tonight. Use that curveball. This is the second time through the lineup, and Marco will use that fastball in the changeup first time through, and then he'll start incorporating that curveball. Give those hitters a little something extra to think about.
Morales has really bounced back this season. We'd mentioned he signed with the Royals as a free agent in December in the offseason. He didn't sign with Minnesota last year until June. He didn't get a qualifying offer and didn't have many opportunities. Donaldson over into foul ground, gets there and makes the catch. 2 down. Ben Zobrist was just picked up by Kansas City, and they've been active in this trade deadline period, and he is a very valuable commodity.
You can put him anywhere, I think, on the diamond. He's played 582 career games at second base. If you want him in the outfield, he has done that 433 times. How about shortstop? 229 times. He's going to help you win ball games. He's a switch hitter. He can still run just a little bit, but I think his greatest asset is his versatility.
Zobrist is a .266 career hitter against the Blue Jays. He's hit 16 home runs against Toronto. Trying to continue to bring that curveball into the mix. That's a great changeup. You throw a changeup off the curveball. There's not a big separation in velocity, but he sells it so well with that arm speed.
As a hitter, you say, oh, fastball, and then no, it's a changeup. It's a good time to throw it right after the curveball.
And there's that fastball, and Zobrist is late.
Marco's also been trying to cut the ball a little bit, something to go in on the left-handers. That's where he started tinkering with it in spring training, something to go in on the hands of the left-handers. So that is a fourth pitch that he can use.
Another fastball poked into the seats.
Found that it was starting to work for the right-handed batters also, so he started using it just a little bit more. But basically, he's fastball, changeup, and curveball.
Fly ball to right. Bautista is there. Bautista's been busy in right. Another 3 up, 3 down inning for Marco Estrada. He's retired 10 straight.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That's your view if you're riding up the elevator on the CN Tower right next door to Rogers Center. Beautiful view of the lake shore. Center Island in the background, and if you look down to your right when you're going up there, you can see the Rogers Center. Brian Goins struck out his first time up. Breaking ball down and away. It'll be Goins, Tulowitzki, and Donaldson. Blue Jays have a 4-2 lead in the fourth. They have scored in each of the first 3 innings. Goins hits it on the ground. Backhanded it short by Escobar. Offline, and Angel Hernandez calls him for the tag as he came off the bag. Hosmer did. Came off the bag, and Goins may have hurt himself. Takes a while to get up down there as he took a tumble. Once he hit the bag, he rolled over past first base, and looks like the Blue Jays are contemplating challenging this call. Hosmer off the bag, swipes at Goins and tags him for sure. Hit him inside the groin with his glove and forces Goins to go down beyond first base. But it's 6-3 on the putout.
And Hosmer said, "Are you okay?" Yeah, Ryan had to make that adjustment on that throw, that wide throw by Escobar.
Troy Tulowitzki has been hit by a pitch and struck out. Oh, 1-2. Tulowitzki called out on a fastball his last time up. Coming into this game batting .375 against left-handed pitching.
Another breaking ball from Duffy. This is Troy, we were talking about it last night about Tulowitzki coming to a new league and having to know all these pitchers, these new pitchers. So we're seeing him take a few more pitches tonight than we did last night against the more familiar Philadelphia Philly team.
There's a fastball and Tulowitzki strikes out. 2 down here in the 4th.
Andy Duffy reaches back. He's going to use that fastball one more time. This is going to be his 3rd strikeout as he elevates it somewhat against Tulowitzki. Duffy's last loss was a month ago, June the 30th. I mean, that's how well he has been pitching.
Donaldson has done it again, deep into the 2nd, and goodbye home run. Josh Donaldson, number 25, 3rd of the night for the Blue Jays. What a lineup.
All year long, they have been scoring so many runs, and now the home runs. I told you that the ball's been carrying you. I don't think any of these home runs needed the help of the wind. Josh Donaldson reacts to a breaking ball. Duffy finally gets one over. He reacts to it and crushes it to left field.
There's a breaking ball strike.
You know, and I think the pitcher, Duffy, said, how did you hit this? I haven't been throwing it over for strikes. And look at the reaction. I haven't been throwing him for strikes, and then I finally throw him for a strike, and you hit it 9 miles.
Yeah, that reaction just suggests Duffy's really frustrated. This lineup has hit him hard tonight. 3 home runs. They've scored 5 runs on 5 hits. 4 extra base hits, a double and 3 homers. Bautista fouls it back.
Well, little hesitation right there by Donaldson, recognizing the breaking ball. And that ball got out of here quickly.
Blue Jays have hit 135 home runs. Bautista grounds it to short. Escobar takes his time. The inning is over. But again, the Blue Jays have scored. They've scored in all 4 innings so far tonight. The long ball prominent for Donaldson. Home run number 25. RBI number 69. 5-2 Jays. Time here tonight. Russell Martin, Navarro, and Josh Donaldson all hitting home runs. Navarro hit a 2-run shot first of the night for the Blue Jays. Then in the 3rd inning, Russell Martin hit a solo shot to left field. Then Josh Donaldson hit a 2-out home run in the fourth. 5-2 Blue Jays. For Kansas City, it'll be 7, 8, 9 in their batting order. Sal Perez to lead things off. Some of the Kansas City players are talking to the coaching staff about the fact that they're going to have to face David Price on Sunday. And the coaches said, well, you only have to face him once. You would have had to face him 3 more times in the division, pitching for the Tigers, so you should be grateful that you only have to face him 1 more time.
Yeah, that's a great point. This is the last that we'll see of Kansas City, this 4-game series. Only play them a home and home all season long.
It's a high fly ball, not that deep. Pilar comes over from center, makes the call. Perez is retired. That's 11 straight for Estrada.
You know, and only one of them a ground ball, extreme fly ball type of pitcher. So you got to be ready.
And the ground ball looked like it was going to be a base hit. It was a sharp ground ball up the middle. Troy Tulowitzki made the play behind the bag at second and threw out Alcides Escobar. The only ground ball out recorded by Estrada. This is the second year for Infante with the Royals. And there's a fly ball to left. Valencia is there. 2 down. Estrada is really mowing him down right now.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Bouncing ball, Colabella will take it on the hop, step on the bag. What a quick inning for Estrada. Marco has retired 13 straight. It only took him 6 pitches to set down the side in order in the 5th.
The green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are special guests of TD. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, we welcome guests from the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Hope everybody's enjoying the game on a beautiful night here in Toronto, Buck.
Thank you very much, Rash. It is a beautiful night, and those guests in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, I'm sure, having a good time. The Blue Jays have a 3-run lead, 5-2, as they bat in the 5th. Piscolabello has popped out twice. Popped out to the first baseman and popped out to the catcher. Both in foul territory. Colabello's in his first extended slump since he came up to the Blue Jays early in May. Over his last 11 games, he has just 5 hits in 33 at-bats.
He always figures out a way to get a hit. He has good at-bats. Well, there you go.
He must have heard you. Colabello's aboard with a ringing single to left.
Yeah, he might not have the 2 for 3s, 3 for 4s, those kind of thing, but Chris has been putting together some good at-bats, and he always seems to come up with a base hit, at least one a game. Ball looks like it was cutting just a little bit, but it was elevated and hit hard to left field to start the 5th.
Just the 6th hit for the Blue Jays tonight. Russell Martin. Lots of fans here, of course, at Rogers Center. That's a whole Martin clan. That's the Martin suite tonight.
My favorite Martin.
Lots of people's favorite Martin. 15 home runs for Russell. Russell's career high in home runs is 21. He hit 15 home runs for the Pirates in 2013. His best season came as a Yankee in 2012 when he pounded out 21 home runs and drove in 53. His career high in RBIs, 87. That was in 2007 when he had that great season for the Dodgers.
Look what he's doing against left-handers so far this season, over 300.
Left-hander Danny Duffy has allowed 3 home runs to the Blue Jays tonight. It's the first 3-homer game in his career over a span of 77 career appearances. Blue Jays will do that to you. 3-1 to Martin. Hit on the ground. Escobar at short. Infante at second, back the first double play. So Martin bounces into the 6-4-3 double play. That erases Chris Colabello. Chris Medlin in the Royals bullpen loosening up. Danny Duffy has thrown 82 pitches to this point. First of 4 games here in Toronto for Kansas City. Danny Valencia got halfway through that swing and said, "Don't swing." But he went around.
Those types of swings right there are dangerous because you can hurt yourself. See a lot of tendon and ligament problems in those hands when you start your swing and then try and hold up like that. Better just to go ahead and swing.
Yeah, once you commit to that swing and you put the brakes on, you put a lot of pressure on your hands and your wrists. Ball on a strike to Valencia, the Blue Jays left fielder. Danny Duffy has given up a run in the first 4 innings. 5 fastball, back out of play. Jose Bautista drove in the first run of the ball game. Kansas City jumped out to a 2-0 lead off Marco Estrada. Kendrys Morales with a 2-run, 2-out double in the first chased home Eric Hosmer and Lorenzo Cain. That's a pretty good pitch. Inside, that breaking ball coming around a little bit for Danny Duffy now in the middle innings.
You know, Danny's got a hard breaking ball. Danny Duffy's, it's a hard one. He just has not been able to throw it where he needs to tonight. To all these right-handed batters of the Blue Jays, he's trying to bury it down and in. He can't throw it there yet.
Comes back with a good breaking ball. Valencia strikes out. Good inning for Duffy. We'll head to the 6th. The Blue Jays lead it 5-2. And here comes the home hardware cleanup crew. Brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
Get closer to the action with breaking news, scores, stats, and video highlights. You can download the Sportsnet app for free today.
Thank you very much, Arash. 30,057 in attendance here at Rogers Center tonight. Thursday night crowd. You can bet it's going to be bigger crowds as we go through the weekend. Friday night, Saturday, David Price penciled in tentatively to start Sunday. Blue Jays won't make any announcements until they see Price firsthand. Check in with him.
Yeah, they want to talk to him and kind of chat about what they want to do going forward. The spot that's open is Sunday. That was the spot that Felix Doubront was pitching in, and Felix was sent down, DFA'd.
Alcides Escobar, the shortstop. 2-0. Estrada, just 80 pitches pitching here in the sixth. That's Cecil loosening up. This Kansas City Royals team, they don't hit a lot of home runs. They have 80 home runs on the season, but they play in a big ballpark. They are 14th in the American League, and their yard is a big one, and they don't hit many home runs as a franchise throughout their history because of the big ballpark at Kansas City.
You know what they do or they don't do? They don't strike out. That's the thing. They always seem to put the ball in play. Coming into this game, they had 581 strikeouts. That's the fewest in Major League Baseball. A lot of teams are up over 700, 800. I also saw 900. They've only had 581 coming into this game. So they put the ball in play, and they make you beat them.
It's really kind of like the Royals when they started out in the late 60s, early 70s. They played in the big ballpark early on in Kansas City. Didn't strike out a lot, had good speed, ran first to third, and they never really emphasized home runs very much. Fly ball to center. Pilar hustling back. Just in front of the 400-foot sign in center. One down. Johnny Cueto will make his Royals debut tomorrow night, taking on the Blue Jays. It all starts at 6:30 Eastern Time. That's 3:30 Pacific Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. Johnny Cueto was targeted as one of the prominent starters available during the trade deadline period, and Kansas City pulled the trigger. They sent 3 left-handed pitchers to Cincinnati in exchange for Johnny Cueto.
I guess that was the going price for a quote rental pitcher. Price and Cueto, probably the best rental pitchers out on the market before the trade deadline. Blue Jays, of course, sent 3 left-handed minor leaguers to Detroit for David Price.
Of course, the top 2 minor league prospects, Daniel Norris and Matt Boyd, and they both pitched here in the big leagues this season. Jairo Laborde was the other one, and the big thing about Laborde was that he pitched so well in the futures game during the All-Star break that he increased his value and it became more of a target for trade partners. Moustakas swings right through that high fastball.
Yeah, if you pitch well in the futures game against the best talent in the minor leagues and you pitch well, your value can only go up.
Yeah. It was a good outing for the organization. Two-2 pitch. Must have been low. Moustakas has struck out looking and struck out swinging. Lorenzo Cain hit by a pitch, came around to score the first run of the ball game in the first. 3-2 to Moustakas. Fly ball deep to right. Bautista hustling to his right, gets there and makes the catch. Checking with Jamie Campbell. Well, everybody's going to keep their eye on the Yankees for the time being. The Yankees are 57-43 at this point of the season. Blue Jays are 51-51.
I'll tell you, Navarro and Estrada are really working well together tonight. There's a breaking ball. Deanna is calling it a heck of a play. Watch what he does here on the 3-2 pitch. He goes change up and he goes, come on, I believe in this. You can do this. That's the right pitch. And Marco throws it, gets it off the bat of Moustakas. I mean, that's just reinforcing and working together, those two.
Yeah, Navarro sensed a bit of hesitation after he flashed that sign, and then he pumped his fist and said, hey, man, I know this is good. You can do it. Gave Estrada a little bit of extra confidence.
Marco throws a good pitch and gets a good hitter out.
1-1 to Cain. A hanging curveball. He jumped all over it. That curveball stayed up around the letters, and he hit it to left for a single, his first hit of the night. John Gibbons not hesitating. He's got a 3-run lead. Marco Estrada, that base hit snaps a streak of 15 straight Royals retired. He left the breaking ball up in the zone. He's frustrated that he won't be able to complete the 6th, but he'll hand off to John Gibbons in line for the win. 15 in a row retired before that 2-out single. Brett Cecil will come into the ball game to face the red-hot Eric Hosmer.
the Dodgers in the Freeway Series. It's at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. Start on Sportsnet Pacific. The Dodgers, Buck, just like the Blue Jays, appear to be going all in.
Sure sounds like it, Ross. They have made some big deals of late, and they are adding players and designated players, moving players all over the yard. Cecil in to face Hosmer, and he goes after the first pitch. Nice play by Colabello. You can't wait to decide fair or foul. He makes the grab in foul territory.
Just make the out over there at first base. Brett Cecil into the ball game for the Blue Jays one more time. Ball hit hard, but clearly foul. Here's Cecil. There are his numbers. 38th game this year for Brett Cecil. He worked a couple of days ago. A 1-2-3 7th inning against the Phillies. John Gibbons had this move in mind when the inning started. He did not want to see Eric Hosmer face Marco Estrada for a third time.
Hosmer singled against Estrada in the first, came around to score, and then he lined out, hit a shot to center field right at Kevin Pillar. Hosmer has extended his hit streak to 12 straight, and you're right. He didn't want to give Hosmer one more look at Estrada. Hosmer is red hot right now. 0-2. Hosmer reaches for it. Donaldson looks at second. Nobody there. Goes to first. Hosmer's retired. Cecil gets it done. So the Blue Jays are out of the top half of the sixth. Marco Estrada in line for the win. The Blue Jays lead at 5-2. Pillar will lead things off.
And on Sunday, the first 20,000 fans will receive that Blue Jays welcome mat. 20,000 welcome mats, and the question will be, will the welcome mat be open for David Price that afternoon when the Blue Jays wrap up against the Royals, Buck?
Oh, Rash, you didn't see that red carpet in the clubhouse? It'll be great to welcome David Price to the Blue Jays, and in hearing his comments from Baltimore earlier tonight, sounds like he's looking forward to it. Why not? He's never lost a game here at Rogers Center. He's 7-0 in 9 career starts at Rogers Center. Tell you one thing, Blue Jays are glad they don't have to face him again. Price is 14-2 for his career against the Blue Jays. Here's another pop-up off the bat of Pillar. Infante, the second baseman in shallow right, makes the catch.
You know, here's how I'm looking at that, Buck. There were rumors that the Yankees were going to try and get David Price. And I'm like, wow, that'd be a perfect fit, a left-hander pitching at Yankee Stadium. Well, the Yankees don't get him, and the Blue Jays do. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, that's a double-edged sword for sure. And in fact, that left-hander might be pitching in Yankee Stadium next Friday. A week from Friday when the Blue Jays go in there. Yanner Navarro got things going for the Blue Jays. He put the Jays ahead with a 2-run home run in the second. Blue Jays were down 2-1 when Navarro came to the plate. Kevin Pillar had a pop single to start the inning, then Navarro hit a deep home run to left. It was really interesting to see the vibe around the stadium today with all of the media out. Of course, press conference at 3 o'clock. Alex Anthopoulos announcing the David Price deal. Remind me an awful lot of the late 80s, early 90s when there was a buzz here at the ballpark every single night.
Seemed like the Blue Jays were making those type of deals a lot back in those days. Picking up that one player, two players, that guy to get them over the hump.
We mentioned Tulowitzki coming from the Rockies, and he was joined by the veteran LaTroy Hawkins. And Hawkins pitched in last night's game, had a clean inning. And Navarro will take ball 4. A 1-out walk to Navarro. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Jay Happ getting hit hard for a second consecutive outing. Blue Jays hit him hard when they saw him in Seattle. He's given up 5 earned runs on 6 hits. A 1-hopper to Infante. Flips to second. Escobar back to first. Goins grounds into the inning-ending double play. The 1-out walk doesn't hurt. The Royals turn their second double play of the night, but the Blue Jays have the lead as we head to the 7th.
In Dunedin, a Blue Jays fantasy camp with Robbie Alomar, George Bell, Jesse Barfield, and a lot of other former Blue Jays for the ultimate Major League experience. Now, the package includes airfare, hotel, meals, uniform, and 4 days of baseball with some of those Blue Jays legends. Spots are limited. Check out more information on bluejays.com/fantasycamp.
LaTroy Hawkins will make his second appearance as a Blue Jay. He was acquired along with Troy Tulowitzki in that trade with Colorado. He's a veteran, 42 years old, and he's a very good addition to this bullpen.
Yeah, works quickly, throws a lot of strikes. He worked 2 nights ago against the Phillies, had a couple of ground downs and a strikeout. He was a closer last season with the Rockies, 23 for 26 in saves. Here in Toronto, he's going to be a setup man. Probably pitch around this time in the ball game, 7th or 8th inning. Ezekiel Carrera takes over in left field for Danny Valencia here in the 7th.
Brett Cecil came in and got his man. He came in with a man aboard to pitch to Eric Hosmer and got Hosmer to ground out to end the inning. Kendrys Morales, Ben Zobrist, and Sal Perez for Kansas City. Facing with Troy Hawkins. Morales up to his league-leading RBI total to 70 in the first inning with a 2-run double. Line drive, Pilar to his right. He's there to make the catch. The outfield has been busy tonight. Lots of fly balls to the outfield. Bautista has been particularly busy. He's had 6 plays in right.
It's fly ball type of pitchers tonight for the Blue Jays. Kevin Pillar has been very busy as he gets the first out here in the 7th. Troy Hawkins, sinker slider. That's about what he does. He throws strikes. He changes speeds. John Gibbons was talking about him the other day, and he likened him to Darren Oliver when Darren Oliver was here.
Ben Zobrist has flied out twice tonight. This is his Kansas City debut. He was just picked up from Oakland. Zobrist will be a free agent at the end of the season, so he is a rental player as well. Boy, Kansas City gave up a couple of good-looking young pitchers. Sean Manaea, a 6'5" left-hander who was taken in the first round in 2013. And Aaron Brooks, who is a promising pitcher. We saw him here pitching for Kansas City, and he got hammered back in May of 2014. Lasted just 2/3 of an inning. Gave up 7 earned runs in the first. This is a liner to left. Carrera gets a chance right off the bat. 2 down.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Early evening here in Toronto. 2 outs. We're in the top of the 7th with Troy Hawkins into the ball game. Liner into center. Pilar comes in. He'll play it on a hop. Ball dropped in front of the center fielder. 2-out single for Perez. Hawkins pitched on Tuesday. I misspoke. He pitched his first night here. So he got an opportunity to work in the inning. He had a strikeout in 1 inning. That was in game 1 of the 2-game Phillies series.
Change of speeds, and he just sinks that fastball in there. He's been around for a long time, so he understands the strike zone, how to throw strikes, and where to get outs.
There's a base hit up the middle. Pilar will come in. Perez will stop at second. Back-to-back 2-out singles here in the 7th. Couple of singles to center. Perez and Infante, Gerard Dyson. The right fielder Dyson has gone 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Even with 2 outs, he's a threat to bunt.
They need 3 runs to tie. He knows his job is to just get on base somehow.
He goes after the first pitch. Aaron Sanchez gets up and begins to throw in the Blue Jays bullpen.
As soon as Infante hit that ball and it found its way into center field, Aaron Sanchez got up. You can see he's working very quickly to get loose.
Good pitch inside. 0-2 to the number 9 hitter.
That fastball set 94 miles an hour, and it was in a good spot.
The Troy Hawkins trying to close out this Royal threat in the 7th. One and two. Kelvin Herrera, hard throwing right-hander. Looks like he's going to come into this game. They have a terrific bullpen. Hawkins missed downstairs. It's 2-2. This is the important pitch in this at bat. You have to have some resolution right here. You don't want to go to 3-2 with 2 runners aboard and 2 outs. Give them a running start.
A running start where they're guaranteed to score on a hit to the outfield. He wants to put them away right here.
And he does. Hawkins reaches back for a little extra and punches out Gerard Dyson. Back-to-back 2-out singles. Hawkins leaves them stranded. Watch the movement on this fastball. Late movement gets them a good strikeout. Blue Jays protect their lead.
The only true ace I've played with since Ubaldo Jimenez, and that was just for the year. Tulowitzki also says this is some of the best protection he's had since being teammates with Todd Helton. He said to hit leadoff and have Josh behind me, followed up with Jose Bautista. You can't ask for a better lineup. As for hitting leadoff, Tulowitzki told me, look, I'm fine with it. As long as I'm playing and with the guys behind me, this is going to work out just fine.
Well, Arash, it only happens once a ball game. That's in his first at bat, and other times because the Blue Jays bottom of the order has done a good job of getting on base. He's going to hit with runners in scoring position, so it really doesn't make a matter. It's just a matter of one at bat a night.
Plus, he's going to get more at bats. He and Donaldson hitting first and second. They're going to get that 5th at bat a lot of times with this lineup. Kelvin Herrera into the ball game now for Kansas City, 44 games, and here comes the heat. 2-2 with a 190 earned run average, 40 strikeouts in his 42 2/3 innings. He's got an electric fastball.
He will come at you with that heater, and there's a whole bunch of good-looking fastball hitters in this lineup. Tulowitzki will start things off. He has struck out twice and was hit by a pitch. He was geared up for that first pitch fastball.
Yeah, he doesn't have a mid-90s fastball. He's got one of those upper 90s fastball. That first pitch here in the 7th inning, 98.
The Royals have the best ERA in the American League at 2.14. They've only allowed 22 home runs. They keep it in the ballpark, and they're second in the fewest hits per 9 innings at 6.68. This bullpen doesn't give it up very often. Edinson Volquez and Johnny Cueto reunited here in Kansas City. They started out in Cincinnati as kids. Of course, they know Troy Tulowitzki very well. They both spent a lot of time in the National League. Last pitch was 100 miles an hour from Herrera.
He's just getting loose. Tell you, that's the biggest difference that we have seen in the game over the last decade or so. The flamethrowers that come out of the bullpen now.
And then he drops that slider on him. Tulowitzki's able to get a piece of it. You hear baseball people all the time talk about, we have taught our pitchers how to throw 100. We haven't taught the hitters how to hit it. First of all, I think you would be better off choke up a bit, get a little more back control, and just try to protect that plate. High fly ball to right. Dyson moves toward the foul line, and he makes the catch. Herrera retires Tulowitzki. Kansas City, we told you where they rank in ERA, and they're right at the top of the leaderboard across the board.
Look at the earned run average. First at 214, opponent's batting average, whip, home runs per 9 innings. Third, relief wins. How about that? 21. That tells me that they shut down the opposition when they are behind in the game, giving them a chance to come back and win. They are also second in saves with 34.
They got some guys down there that can flat out pitch. Holland is the closer. They got Ryan Madsen, who has rejuvenated his career in Kansas City. Wade Davis, he doesn't give up anything. Josh Donaldson has had a perfect night. Double, walk, and a home run. Just a little flare into center, and Kane will get there. Donaldson is retired for the first time tonight.
Well, it's always fun when you've got this kind of heat coming out of the bullpen. These types of arms against good fastball hitting teams like the Blue Jays. This should be a lot of fun right here. Bautista versus Herrera.
Jose just 1 for 6 against Herrera. Starts him off with a breaking ball. For those of you that have been under a rock all day long, the Blue Jays acquired David Price from the Detroit Tigers for 3 young minor league left-handed pitchers, and more than likely I would expect Price to be here tomorrow. He's in line going off his last start to pitch on Sunday, and that would line up perfectly with the Blue Jays, as they do not have a starter for Sunday's game in the finale of this series.
Tigers are in Baltimore, so you know it's an easy flight to Toronto. You get here, and knowing him, I'm sure he wants to be here with his teammates. And wouldn't Friday be his throw day?
Yes. He'll want to get his work in before he tunes it up for that next start on Sunday. We showed a tweet earlier from David Price that all I want is a big trash bag full of popcorn when I get to Toronto. He is notorious for eating popcorn and cheering on his teammates when he's not pitching. He's characterized as one of the best teammates in the game. He loves to see his teammates succeed. Breaking ball, just foul outside of third. Herrera throws hard. He's hit 100 this inning, but I have never seen a right fielder shade Bautista that far toward the right field foul line. Look at the center fielder as well,
yeah.
Kane.
The outfield playing Jose to hit the ball the other way. That's almost like a left-handed hitter, isn't it?
Yeah, and Bautista, he can turn around anybody's fastball. I don't care how many digits it has. Breaking ball, he pops into the seats down the left side. It's really kind of interesting if you're going to play him that dramatically to go the other way. Then you throw him breaking balls. You're giving him an opportunity to mess up the shift.
Yeah, you're giving him a lot of field to hit the ball into the outfield with. Normally, you see that type of outfield shading him to right field. They're going to pound fastballs against Bautista. He hung him a breaking ball that time.
Full count, 2 outs. Bautista skies it to left. Zobrist gets there, and the inning is over. Herrera has a clean inning in the 7th. We'll go to the 8th. Aaron Sanchez coming out of the Blue Jays bullpen. Jays are up by 3.
TV bundle for $62.97 a month for the first 3 months. Find out how by calling 1-888-ROGERS-1. And if you have that basic TV bundle tomorrow, Buck, you can tune in to the MLB Trade Deadline Trade Central show at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Cliff Floyd will actually join Jamie and Greg then.
It'll be an interesting show. I'm sure there are a lot of deals yet to be made as you look at Aaron Sanchez coming into the game. This will be his 13th appearance overall. He is now working out of the bullpen.
Aaron last worked on the 26th. That was that final day in Seattle. He is going to take over the 8th inning for the Blue Jays, and taking over at first base is Justin Smoke. He takes over for Colabello.
Top of the order for Kansas City: Escobar, Moustakas, and Kane. And Sanchez delivers a strike. Aaron Sanchez spoke to Marcus Stroman this afternoon, and Stroman was pumped up about the acquisition of David Price. Marcus is down in Duke finishing up his semester. He will be done next week, and then he will get back to 24/7 getting ready to rejoin the ball club, whether it's this season or next spring. But he has hopes of making it back for September.
And I suspect we will see Marcus after he finishes up his work at Duke. I mean, who wouldn't want to be around this right now?
Yeah, and he can do his rehab work right here, especially before he gets to the point where he's going to pitch in ball games. You got the best training staff here. You got all the strength and conditioning coaches, and be around your teammates. And I'm sure he wants to be around David Price and act like a sponge and take in all that information. 1-2. Bounced foul.
Boy, this is a team, the Kansas City Royals, they just don't strike out that much. They've been struck out 4 times tonight, but what an at bat that Escobar is putting up against Sanchez.
So Sanchez has to reach back and throw that breaking ball. He strikes out Escobar. 1 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Once again, the home run ball prominent in the Blue Jays attack tonight. They've hit 3 home runs here tonight. Navarro a 2-run shot. Russell Martin a solo home run. Josh Donaldson also a solo homer. Mike Moustakas, the Royals' fine third baseman, 0-for-3 with a couple of strikeouts. Beaten on the ground, smoke in defensively, flips to Sanchez. 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
So far, so good for the Blue Jays tonight in the first of 4 against Kansas City. We're at the top of the 8th. The Jays have a 5-2 lead. Lorenzo Cain, 1-for-2. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the first. Boy, Sanchez has that sinker working. We have seen that ball beaten into the ground right in front of home plate.
You know, it's what makes Aaron so tough is that fastball. It's there and then it just drops. And it's tough for the batters to get solid wood on the ball. When he is on, he'll get a lot of ground balls. And he's got a good curveball. We saw that against Escobar, put him away.
This is the 3rd relief appearance for Sanchez. Cain with a 1-1 count. Sanchez feels very satisfied that he is healthy again.
Yeah, he wanted to make that clear to both you and me when we saw him in Seattle for the first time. He said, hey, I'm 100%. There's no holding back right now.
3-1. Another ground ball foul. Well, Sanchez was just starting to figure it out as a starter. He had really come into his own at the end of his run before that injury. And I think that's where he's going to end up, back in the rotation. But that'll be next year. Strike 3 call. Cain caught looking at that hitter. Sanchez retires the side in order and strikes out a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.
demand in true HD. You'll get real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widgets, and much more. MLB.TV Premium actually includes a free At-Bat 15 subscription, which helps you if you want to watch baseball at home, at the office, or on the go. BlueJays.com has more, Buck.
Chris Medlin is into the game for Kansas City. This is just his third game. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. He missed all of the 14 season, and he was with the Braves. The Royals took a gamble on him, hoping he could recapture the form he had with the Atlanta Braves.
To build up that strength, pitching out of the bullpen now. You mentioned the 3 appearances for Medlin. His first appearance was on the 20th and the 23rd. And now here on the 30th, sinker, slider, curveball. He was a starter, so he's got all of those pitches working for him.
Justin Smoke sporting a new number tonight. He's wearing number 13. Number 14 had been his number, but he passes it over to David Price. He ended the game defensively at first base, taking over for Chris Colabello. Medlin started out with the Atlanta Braves as a 10th round pick, and he is one of those prototypical Braves pitchers, not overpowering. He changes speed, sinks the ball, and tries to hit his spots.
Uses changeup and his curveball. You mentioned the Tommy John surgery he had at the end of last year's spring training, so he missed all of 2014. I think this was another one of those shrewd moves by the Kansas City Royals in the offseason. One of those moves that go under the radar, if you will. You don't see the big splash, but Medlin's going to help this team.
He's had 2 Tommy John surgeries, had one in 2011 as well. He's a very valuable swing guy, and there was a pretty significant concern about the depth of their starting rotation until they acquired Johnny Cueto. And Medlin will walk Smoke. Leadoff walk. Now it's time for the drive of the game, brought to you by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car, 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's going to bring Russell Martin to the plate in the 3rd inning with 1 out against Danny Duffy. Fastball liftoff. Russell Martin takes this one deep for his 15th home run of the season. That gave the Blue Jays a 4-0 lead. Russell Martin with tonight's drive of the game.
Ball on a strike to Martin. Russell has walked homered and hit into a double play. Blue Jays have homered in 12 straight games. It's the first time in their franchise history that they have homered in 12 straight games coming out of the All-Star break. It's just the 4th time Martin has served as the DH. That one fouled back off the umpire's mask. Chris Conroy took a shot right off that mask. Popped the buttons loose on that padding around the wired cage.
That'll certainly jar you, won't it? Russell knows all about that, being a catcher. One more time. It looked like a fastball. It's starting to sink on the inner half. It's up. Russell gets a piece of it. Perez, the catcher, can't touch it. And it's fouled right off that mask.
Boy, that slow motion just makes you realize what kind of trauma that is to take a foul ball off the mask. 1-2 to Martin. Gloved by Escobar. He makes a nice play. Look to first, but Smoke is back easily. Martin hit it on the line.
This is a good fielding team, the Kansas City Royals. How about this play? One of the best that you're going to see all season long. Infante, the second baseman, shovels it over to Escobar to finish off the batter at first base. That might win some awards this year, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty good looking play. And Escobar took it barehanded and spun 360 and threw a strike to first base. 1 out. Ezequiel Carrera fouls back the pitch. Look at behind home plate. Everybody holding up their Price sign. It didn't take them too long to get those things printed. David Price, acquired in a trade, announced at 3 o'clock this afternoon. He is coming to Toronto. Bounce off home plate. Hosmer misses it in the lights, and Infante too late. That ball bounced up and got right into the lights over the Blue Jays dugout. And Hosmer, two-time Gold Glover, just simply lost it in the lights. It's an infield hit for Carrera.
He didn't even draw leather on that ball. Medlin with a good sinker. Carrera hits it right off the top of home plate, and then it bounces so high. Hosmer, you see him glance up at the lights. He's a good fielder, and if he doesn't get glove on it, something's wrong with it. He had no idea where that ball was. And Carrera will get himself an infield hit.
Infante was too late. I mean, it wasn't his play. It was a routine play that Hosmer just lost in the lights. Carrera gets an infield hit. Smokes now at second. Kevin Pillar, he had a pop single down the right field line in the second and scored on Navarro's home run. Roberto Osuna appears to be ready, standing by in the Blue Jays bullpen. Pillar gets jammed and fouls it back over the screen, out of play.
1 out. There's Navarro on deck. You know what's interesting about that, Buck? He's got his helmet on like he's going to hit right-handed against the against the right-handed hitter.
He might have forgotten.
Pitcher. I think he has.
Yeah, I think he's forgotten. He's got his right-handed helmet on.
Like he's going to hit right-handed versus the right-hander, but he's practicing
left-handed.
Left-handed.
And Pillar takes strike 3.
Let's see if he catches it.
So Navarro will walk to the plate. He's got his right-handed helmet on, but he's going to bat left-handed against Medlin.
Wonder if anybody else is going to notice that.
Probably doesn't really notice it. You know, they're very comfortable. You don't really feel it, but I'm sure it's something. And now maybe the training staff, that's what they're looking for now. Trainers have picked up on it. He's got the wrong helmet on. So the trainers, they're always aware of what's going on the field. Looked like Mike Frosted picked up on the fact that Navarro had the wrong helmet on. He just wanted to hit. He didn't care about that helmet.
That helmet's got a lot of hits in it. He didn't want to take it off.
Hit a home run with that helmet. Now he's got a left-handed batting helmet on, facing Chris Medlin. We're in the 8th. Blue Jays trying to win the opener of this 4-game series. Kansas City has the best record in baseball in the month of July. 17-9 coming into this game. Blue Jays, on the other hand, enter play tonight at 10-13 for the month.
That record that you mentioned about Kansas City, that's been a theme for them, hasn't it? Winning months.
6 consecutive winning months for the Kansas City Royals. That ties their longest streak all time. And won 6 consecutive months from September '81 to August of '82. They did it again in '94 from May '94 to June of '95. And this 6-month streak stretches back to August last year. Three and one now to Navarro. Blue Jays have made the most of their 7 hits. There's the top 2 records the last 2 seasons in Kansas City with 150 wins, third behind the Cardinals and the Angels. Dodgers and Nationals 4th and 5th. That's in the major leagues, of course. Three and one to Navarro. Ball 4. That'll load the bases. So Ryan Goins will come up and he'll face a right-handed pitcher for the first time tonight. Herrera came in the 7th, retired the side in order. Now Medlin here in the 8th.
You know, just so tough to pitch around. Leadoff walks. He led off this inning by walking Justin Smoke. Then give up the infield hit. Then another walk, and he's going to face Goins. Goins hit the ball on the button last time up. Just had nothing to show for it. You see it says grounded into a double play. That was a one-hop shot right at the second baseman.
Goins takes strike 1 from Chris Medlin. Medlin's now 29 years old, and as we mentioned, he's been through 2 Tommy John surgeries. Strike 2, up and away.
Change-up. He's just not having a feel for that pitch just yet. He's thrown a lot of pitches here. He's thrown multiple innings in his 2 appearances so far this year out of the bullpen for the Royals. This might feel like a multiple inning.
To be his 24th pitch. And it's downstairs. Blue Jays trying to add to their lead in the 8th.
Medlin thought he had Goins struck out.
Now he does. That breaking ball catches the outside corner, and a long inning for Medlin, but he strands the bases loaded. We'll go to the 9th. Eric Hosmer will be the first batter for Roberto Osuna, coming in for the save.
Win percentage during every big league game. You can access the MLB Live Tracker by clicking on any baseball game matchup on sportsnet.ca/MLB Live Tracker or through the SN app during the game. A full moon. Buck Martinez on the eve of the trade deadline.
It will be an interesting evening into tomorrow afternoon. The deadline's at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Roberto Osuna into the ballgame looking for his 6th save of the season.
Trying to nail this one down for Marco Estrada. Here are the numbers for Roberto in 42 games this season. He's thrown 44 and a third inning. And the batting average under 200, the whip under 1. Fastball changeup combination.
Eric Hosmer extended his hit streak tonight in his first at bat. He had a broken bat single. Here he hits it hard. Goins into the outfield, makes the grab. 1 pitch, 1 out in the ninth. With 1 out, it's time now to check in with Sportsnet Central. Here's what's coming up next. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmak. Thank you very much, Ivanka. That's all coming up next. How about 2 pitches, 2 outs? Kendrys Morales, another 4-3 ground down here in the ninth.
Told you they don't mess around. They go up there, they swing the bat, the Kansas City Royals. So Roberto Osuna, 2 well-placed fastballs, 2 very quick outs.
Looking around in the rest of the AL East, Detroit's leading Baltimore 9-4, bottom of the 7th. Yankees and Texas tied at 5. Boston's leading the White Sox 3-2, top of the 6th. Blue Jays looking to move over 500. Then Zobrist takes ball 2 downstairs. Here at Rogers Center tonight, and in case you're just joining us, the Blue Jays have sold 21,000 tickets today for upcoming games. 2-1, 2 outs. Zobrist hits it hard. Smoke will take it. Ball game. Osuna with a clean inning in the ninth, picks up his